Hi, I'm Danielle, and this is Chatter Out Loud, a podcast where I share thoughts and TV commentary, starting with one of my favorite shows, Big Brother. In this episode, I'm chatting about Celebrity Big Brother Season 3, Episode 14, Double Eviction Night. Yeah, I love the episode tonight. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. It was intense. I was into it. I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to give a brief recap here. All right, so the episode picks up after that HOH musical theater performance by Todrick. After his HOH ceremony, Tisha and Misha talked about their plan to take Todd out, right? So Todd became the number one target for Todrick and Misha. Todd said he was tricked and... in reference to Todd saying he was tricked, this was referring to him thinking that he was in an alliance with Misha. And I've said this before in a couple of episodes of my podcast. I said before that Todd thought he was in an alliance with Misha, right? But her loyalties were to Todrick, and we saw that tonight. And by the way, Lamar also tried to tell Todd about Todrick and Misha in terms of them breaking them up and getting them out of the house, but no one listened, or no one felt that everyone felt like they were working with them at one point, or I shouldn't say everyone. Todd felt like he really was in an alliance with Misha, right? They were talking in the HOH room a couple of times, and he really thought he was part of the team, but no, he wasn't. And he learned that before tonight. He knew it before tonight, but by the time he actually paid attention to it, it was too late. He had the opportunity to put both Todrick and Misha up during his own HOH, and he did not. He chose to put Carson up and try to get Carson out, and that worked. So, yeah, lesson learned, I guess. All right, so Lamar says that Todrick is not a gracious winner. I think that's an understatement, right? And I believe when he said that, he was referring to the whole HOH ceremony. I won't talk about that again. All right, going into the POV competition, it was called Celebrity Luge. The house guests walked out in their outfits. They were dressed like bobsledders. I think that's what they're called, right? When Todd Bridges came out saying he cursed CBS for putting him in that outfit, oh my God, it tickled me. He said he felt he looked like a Teletubby, and I hollered. The way he was walking out and his belly hanging out, he was a good sport. But he did make me chuckle with him saying, I curse you for putting me in this outfit. And then, in his diary room session, he felt like he looked like a Teletubby. Anyway, the competition was a head-to-head round, or it was head-to-head rounds, and they have to complete the fastest time in each round to eliminate the next person. Todd's strategy was timing, of course. He's really into video games. So his strategy was timing, right? When to push off the block. So Misha and Todd were in the final round, and Todd won the comp. You guys, if I'm honest, I didn't even understand how Todd won, but after I rewatched it, I figured out that the fastest time is not necessarily getting to the end first, right? It's the duration of time from when you pushed off to getting to the finish line. So then it made sense, because I'm like, well, why is he waiting to push off, And then even though Misha ended up at the line first, how did Todd win? And then I had to watch it again and pay attention. So I'm like, oh, I get it now. But nevertheless, the power of veto was won by Todd. Okay. Then we saw the spirit of SNL Chris in the house, right? But it was really Lamar. Lamar got up in the middle of the night. He ate cake, ice cream. He tried to go back into the room, into the bed, and he fell. Now, this was similar to what we saw with SNL Chris. But Lamar's fall, SNL's Chris fall was pretty bad. Lamar's fall, that was bad too, but I don't know. it's pitch black in that room, and they have a hard time walking around. So I never understand. I don't know how else are they supposed to walk around. There are no lights. They don't control the lights. Production controls the lights. So do you say, production, turn on the lights just so you can see yourself walking out? Right? Wake up everyone. I don't know. Anyway, it looked like a bad fall. Okay. Moving on to the nice edit they gave Todrick. Right? It was his dream to write It's his dream to write Broadway shows and more inclusive stories, to be more diverse. For the audience that only watches the CBS episodes, this may work, presenting Todrick in this light, right? For others that have watched the live feeds, not so much, right? I mean, everything that Todrick has done this season, we see it, and I think they're trying to help Todrick because I think his reputation has been damaged so much by him being on the show. So they're helping him. I don't know if this will work or not, but he's going to be in for a rude awakening when he gets out of the house. Yeah. All right. Todd says there's been a line drawn. During the POV ceremony, Todd says there's been a line drawn, so he's taken himself off the block. That was the right move to make. And as expected, Cynthia went up as the replacement nominee. Misha voted to evict Lamar. Todd voted to evict Cynthia. And then Todrick broke the tie and evicted Lamar. When he started off, it sounded like he was going to evict Cynthia, but he wound up evicting Lamar. I don't know what that was about. I didn't understand if that was strategy and what was that supposed to do. Or was he just trying to embarrass Lamar by confusing him? I don't know. Lamar's exit interview was okay. We learned that he asked Todd Bridges to be his sober coach. And I mentioned that I saw that on the live feeds as far as Todd being Lamar's sponsor. I saw that on live feeds, and I put that in one of my episodes. And if I'm not mistaken, it's probably the episode L.O. and the Man is in the title, right? Because I like their relationship. I like how they got along. I mean, they had fights, yes. But the banter between the two of them, I just enjoyed watching them. But in the exit interview, Lamar confirmed that Todd Bridges was his sober coach. And that just goes to show you how much of a relationship they've developed in a short amount of time in the BB house. So that was nice to see. He also said he's leaving the house feeling good about himself, which I feel is very important, right? And Julie just had to throw in a question about his ex-wife. Oh. All right, so the power went back up for grabs. The HOH competition was played. It was called BB Flicks Film Festival. There were 3 movie posters, 3 friends talking about the movie they want to watch. The audio is the clue. So they had to listen to the audio. They see the 3 posters. And based on what the friends are talking about, they had to guess which or determine the one movie that satisfied everyone. Only the first person that rings in correctly receives a point. The highest number of points after 7 rounds wins the HOH. It was a really close match. I found myself like, yay, 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 and Todd was up in the beginning and then he fell off. Cynthia came up, then she fell off. Misha just came and just ended up winning. So Misha won the HOH. The power of and remember, it's double eviction night. So Lamar just got evicted. Now we're going through a whole round of Big Brother in 1 hour in that short period of time. So Misha is now the new HOH. Power of Veto was played. This was the final Power of Veto of the season. It was called Frozen in Time. They had a question about the event that happened in the house, and the answers are in days. So if you listen to my last episode that I put out shortly before the double eviction aired, I mentioned how Todrick, and Misha were questioning or testing each other on the number of days in the house. Todrick was also studying with Cynthia, right? And I also said that I did not see Todd Bridges, nor did I see Lamar counting days or studying or anything like that. And it was evident in this in this competition. But anyway, so the questions were about events, or the POV involved questions about events that happened in the house, and the answer were in days, right? So you answer in days. They roll the ball down the ice cycle ramp and put it in the slot of the day. If no one gets the point, the closest that gets, or if no one guessed the right day, the closest gets that point. It was 9 questions, so 9 rounds. My first observation is that Todrick was ready for this competition. I mean, he knows the game and he was ready. And I said, uh-oh. It looks like this is in his favor. He was ready for this competition. It seemed like that Todd pretty much gave up after the third question when he said, I pretty much can't do this, because he was just guessing. He had no idea. And I think he missed that part of that element of the game. You know, it's important to pay attention to everything in the house. Who won the first veto? What day was it when so-and-so got evicted, and all of that? It all comes into play. And I think Todd Bridges missed that. But that's okay. I'm not sure why they went through all of the 9 questions. Todrick and Misha were so far ahead, but I guess that they could have ended in a tie, and they, meaning Todrick and Misha, could have ended in a tie, which they did, by the way. So they had to go through all of the questions. It ended in a tie. They had to guess something in seconds, and as soon as we saw that Todrick and Misha were the final 2 in terms of ending in a tie, then we all know Todd was going home, right? So anyway, they had to answer a question in seconds. Misha came closest to the answer, so Misha not only just won the HOH, but then she won the power of veto. So yeah, she wound up leaving the nominations the same. Todrick voted, Todrick being the only vote, voted Todd Bridges out. Before the break, I said, I hope he just votes him out without any foolery, you know, and for the most part, I think he did that. Okay. Todrick evicted Todd, right? So Todrick, Misha, and Cynthia make it to the finale. They're the final 3. Todd's exit interview, it was great. I'm telling you, he does talk, because Julie could barely get out a question. He was ready to answer. He was ready to answer, you know. And I'm like, can she put the period on the, put the question mark before you answer? And that was funny to me anyway, because remember, in the house there was a competition, underlying competition between Todrick and Todd in terms of who talks more. Right? They both love to talk, and I just thought that was pretty funny. I'm like, let Julie ask the question before you start answering. Anyway, his interview was great. He said he'll never do this again. He can't be without his phone and away from his family and stuff like that. But the way it came out was funny. When he started talking about giving Todrick his jury vote, Julie was like, wait, you're not supposed to tell us that. And then she was like, you have to go home to watch the season, trying to give him a hint. Like, slow your roll. Do you really want to commit to voting for Todrick? Although what he said was right. Todrick has played the game well. He's nasty and has put people down, insulted them, lied. He's done a lot in the house. I don't want to go over it again. Listen to past episodes on my thoughts about Todrick. But Todrick, he's done a lot. And I'm just curious to see, once people go home, yeah, because both Lamar and Todd will have enough time to get some information before they make their vote, right? Cynthia won't have that time because she'll still be in the house. So she might come out and wind up voting for Todrick if both Todrick and Misha are in the end, you know? Yeah. All right. Oh, we found out, we got confirmation that America gets a vote. So, but that's only in the event of the tie, right? So America gets to vote on finale night. If there's a tie. So we'll learn more. Julie said you'll learn more on finale night. So we'll find out the details with that. I suspect we'll get to vote in the beginning of the episode, and then they'll tally the votes from the jury. And if it ends in a tie, then they'll count America's vote, right? Right. But I suspect we'll be voting early on. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, does America want to hear? Do they want America to hear their final pitch of why they should win win the season? Yeah. Okay. In a normal season, they go through. They vote first. Yeah. What do they do in a normal season? A regular season, I should say. They go through some of what happens in the House, and then they vote, and then no. They go through competitions. They introduce the jury. They go through some things in the House. No, I'm getting this all messed up. I think the jury votes first, then they get into the details of what's happening. That happens in a normal season. So the jury will vote before they start talking about details, right? Because you don't want to sway the jurors' vote. But then in a regular season, the jurors are sequestered. Here, I don't know how it works. To be honest, I can't remember on the last Celebrity Big Brother season because they're all the jurors are home. With the exception of Cynthia, who's still in the house. So they see everything. So why can't they talk about it before they vote, right? They're talking about it now. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But anyway, America gets a vote only in the event of a tie. Most likely, America will vote in the beginning of the episode or near, before the halfway mark. And then if it's a tie, they'll reveal America's vote at the end. All right. How much do you want to bet that there'll be a tie, right? Wouldn't that be the perfect ending? Then America could say, nope, Todrick, you're not winning. But I don't know. I see a lot of things online. Casuals that do not watch the live feeds, they think differently. So we'll have to see. So in the end, Todrick Hall, Misha Tate, Cynthia Bailey are the final 3 in Celebrity Big Brother Season 3. I'll be back to share more. I think I have one more live feed update in me to share between now and Wednesday. So I'll watch the live feeds and work on that. And then we'll all watch on Wednesday. We'll see who wins. Hopefully America gets a vote, so we'll get input there. And I'll come back with a recap and then share thoughts on the season. Until then, I keep forgetting to ask. Who are you voting for America's favorite house guests? Yeah, leave me a comment. Let me know. Let me know. All right. And that's all I have. So be sure to come back and give me a listen, like, follow, share, subscribe. You can leave me a comment. Leave me a message. If you're listening to the podcast, there's a link to leave me a message. So check that out. You can find me by looking for Chatter Out Loud. I have this podcast. I tweet. I'm on YouTube. So look for Chatter Out Loud and you'll find me. All right. My name is Danielle and you're listening to my podcast, Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, I appreciate your support. And that's all I have. Thanks again for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.